Happening now on the news at 4, the D.C. Council is hours away from a critical vote on the billion-dollar RFK Stadium deal. The decision could shape the future of development and the district itself. Thanks for joining us on WUSA 9. I'm Annie Yu, and we have been tracking every twist in this debate, and tonight the outcome could make history. Lorenzo Hall is live at the Wilson Building tonight with what's at stake and the very latest. Hi, Lorenzo.
Hey, Annie, it's good to see you. You know, it has been a busy day here at the Wilson Building. You have a lot of folks who are for and against the stadium showing up just to see what's going on here. But let me tell you, the D.C. Council is back from recess, so the RFK Stadium deal is only one of several major issues on the Council's agenda today. There is a lot to talk about, including the Rental Act, a proposed juvenile curfew, and a pay raise for D.C. police officers. So we're going to break those down for you in about 30 minutes or so. But first, we have to talk about this RFK Stadium deal. We have team coverage. Our investigative reporter Eric Flack is on the story for us tonight, but I want to begin with our Rafael Sanchez-Cruz, who just stepped out of council chambers. So Rafa, what's happening in there right now?
Yeah, so we are an hour and a half into this legislative hearing, but we have yet to get to the RFK Stadium deal. I know a lot of the attention is concentrating on what's happening inside the chambers, but the real negotiations started way before this hearing even started. Right now, the D.C. Council is considering at least 12 amendments regarding the RFK Stadium deal. These potential changes are not new issues. Most council members are wanting more accountability so that the commanders can deliver on time the mixed-use parcels. We're talking about the parts of the project that would include the 6,000 housing units and the commercial space. In a letter to the council, Commander President Mark Klaus has said that the last-minute demands jeopardize the deal entirely. But some members say it's time to turn up the heat on negotiations with the NFL team. Ahead of the vote, I spoke with at-large council member Robert White and Ward 3 council member Matt Fruman. Both no's during the first vote. They say their support relies on the amendments. Let's listen.
Stadiums get built without taxpayer money. The owners of this stadium are some of the wealthiest people in the world. The city right now is in a deficit. Most of us in the city would love to see them there, but they can afford to build the stadium.
It's going to depend on how the amendments play out. We have 12 amendments. We'll see where it all lands. We also, frankly, the chairman was going to be talking with the commanders right now, and there may be other issues that are out there that are being hammered out.
So I do have some insight on that conversation between Chairman Phil Mendelson and the commanders. Other council members were part of that phone conversation ahead of today's vote. I'm told they discussed some environmental progress and also just some last-minute issues. But again, a lot of the amendments that will be proposed today, the commanders have already said we're not in favor of them. They're too last-minute. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, I'll have more about that last-minute meeting between Mendelson and the commanders. I'm live on the Wilson Building. Lorenzo, back to you.
Yeah, these conversations are going to continue for quite a while today. Rafa, thank you. And as we wait for this vote to take place, you know the mayor's office is also keeping a close eye on today's developments. So joining me right now is Nina Albert, Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. Deputy Mayor, thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for covering this.
All right, so clearly it's going to be a long night here at the Wilson Building. A lot of negotiating has taken place outside of these council chambers today. We know that. So are you still confident this is going to get through?
Yeah, I am. It is going to get through. The question is that are we going to hold to the original deal that the council and the commanders had agreed to over a month ago? And I think that that's really the question. But look, there is no doubt in anybody's mind that this project is going to generate really important jobs, particularly over the next 4 years, and is part of the mayor's growth economy, which is to diversify and include more sports, more entertainment, and other high growth sectors.
So what are you most concerned about right now in terms of this deal and some of these potential last minute changes?
I don't think that, the commanders provided a lot of concessions and worked in good faith with the council the last go around. Reached significant agreement with multiple labor unions that want to participate in this deal. So these are protections for workers that are going to work on the construction site, also work on in the long term. And so I think that the deal got to a point where everybody is really satisfied, and we just want to uphold that deal. That's what the commanders have told us. That's what the commanders have told the council. We're ready to go. And we just want to get a shovel in the ground by 2030.
All right, so you say you're ready to go. If this does go through today, what happens tomorrow?
we're at work. We are going to begin the planning process for the site. A lot of neighbors are really interested in how dense is it going to be, where, all the details. Where's parking going to be? That work begins in earnest with our community to make sure that we deliver a fantastic sports-anchored mixed-use development on the banks of the Anacostia.
All right, so on that same note, you talk about neighbors and a lot of them wondering, how this is all going to look. I'm thinking of the people who live next to the current RFK Stadium site. We see big development like this all the time in the city, and they worry about being displaced. What do you say to those folks who are watching, they live next to this stadium, they see these mammoth plans, and they fear they may lose their homes at some point?
There's different kinds of circumstances. We know that a lot of people also benefit from having more homes. So the project actually is looking at delivering 6,000 new housing units. That's also incredibly important, and it's across the income spectrum. So everybody, regardless of your income level, will have an opportunity and can participate in living here. So there's a mix of impacts and opportunities affiliated with a project of this scale and size. And the district has protections and measures to make sure that people are not displaced. Obviously, some folks will choose to sell their homes and take advantage of any of price increases over the course of time. But in the long run, we believe that more affordable housing, more housing, use of a really incredibly important site that can also help contribute to the cleanup of the river, all of these benefits, not to mention, again, back to the jobs that are so important right now. There is great promise with this project, and I believe there's great excitement for it as well.
We have about 10 seconds left. How's the mayor feeling about this right now?
I couldn't speak to how the mayor's feeling about it, but I know that generally the mayor's staff, the mayor herself, this has been her legacy. She's been working on getting RFK Stadium into the district's control for over 10 years, and this is really, in my opinion, a banner project for her legacy. And so it's very important to her, and we urge the council to pass this.
Okay, it's going to be a long night, huh? You ready for it?
Always ready. Always ready.
Nina Albert, thank you so much. You're holding the mic. I appreciate it. It's always good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. So, Rafael Sanchez Cruz, you may have heard his report. He talked about this a minute ago. Today brought a lot of discussion and a lot of last-minute demands to this RFK agreement. And the Washington Commanders team president says these changes, they are a bit concerning tonight. President Mark Klaus, he said in a letter to Chairman Middleton and members of the council, quote, less than 24 hours before the final vote, the Commanders organization was presented with a list of unworkable and impractical new last-minute demands by council members, which we simply cannot agree to as it jeopardizes the deal. He went on to say, quote, we urge you to honor our core agreement from only 1 month ago and move forward with the final approval. So clearly they want this done quickly. Now, we know this is a multi-billion-dollar deal, and D.C. council members, they ultimately get the final say. So I want to bring in our chief investigative reporter, Eric Flack. You've been in council chambers as well, listening to some of the discussions, Flack. So what changes are being discussed at this moment?
Well, I don't know what's being discussed as we sit here now. As of this morning, we were talking about things like charging the team $10 to $14 million a year if they didn't meet those housing timelines for 6,000 new units. We were talking about saving trees, heritage trees, that are those beautiful trees outside the stadium. We were talking about environmental concerns about making this stadium a LEED certified stadium, which there were really no requirements for how environmentally friendly it was going to be. There was conversations about that controversial third parking garage, which came off of the plan, but there was still unclear who would ultimately decide who would ultimately decide whether or not that third parking garage was going to be built.
Garages, by the way, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions of dollars, and also just the space, and it's a use of space down there that a lot of people are concerned about. Ultimately, I'm being told a lot of these issues did get worked out. I believe the Fruman amendment, which is the $10 million per year penalty for not meeting housing timelines, is going to be debated, but I'm told it doesn't have the votes, which would ultimately lead to this deal getting passed in a form that would be okay with the team.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about an area, a lot of folks are talking about affordable housing as well. A big part of this discussion is not just about the stadium, and they're concerned that this area is going to end up looking like Northwest Stadium in Prince George's County, where you just have a big stadium and nothing else really around it.
Yeah, and I think the Commanders have said that they are committed to not doing that. I also think just business sense would tell you that that is not the way that these stadiums are successful anymore.
Yeah, got to get it all done, not just the stadium, but the area around it as well.
That's right.
All right, get back inside.
All right, see you, Zoe.
Thank you. See you in a minute. And by the way, as DC Council prepares to vote on the future of RFK Stadium and the Commanders, you know we're going to be on top of every development. So you can count on us for the very latest. The moment that decision is made, again, we are waiting for them to begin the discussion. There's a lot to talk about here at the Wilson Building tonight. So I'll have another update for you coming up at 4:30. Annie?